Laura, I'm pleased to be here with the mind and the actress of Nina Goes to New York. So I'm very happy, to have seen the show. And I would like to ask you, the very first question. So how did you put all this together? Because it's not simple. I know that the show used to be very long and you have to cut it for the Fringe.
Right.
So how did it all start?
Oh, okay. Um, After my graduate school, and as you saw, and I felt like I experienced really unfair casting issue at my school, and then I was really sad and angry as well. So I felt like I need to do something with this, and otherwise it's gonna sit in my heart very toxic way. So I started to write, and then my director as well as my partner, and he really encouraged me to make it happen. And then we did the first show in Korea, and it was really big success. And then we did it again, and then we got sponsored with the big cooperation, and we did it again. And then we just also finished our show in New York 2 months ago. Yeah, that's how we started. And then here we are in Fringe. Yeah.
I mean, it started also during, a big part of the writing process happened during the pandemic. So the pandemic was also a great time to kind of work on new material, do the writing and all of that. And we did a first run in Korea just during the pandemic, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how it got started.
Yes.
And studying different culture for work and meeting your show for me, it's very, important and unique because I think it's not easy to talk about discrimination in the way you did,
Right.
because what I feel is like when you see like TV series, movies, there is a kind of, I have to do this because I have to do this.
Yeah.
But without really understanding the cultural issue that can be behind, people melting, doing a melting pot with each other. So culture, that means other culture, but really understand them.
Yeah.
So not only, to say, oh, well, we are inclusive, but without understanding what that means actually. So your story is so fascinating. And I would like to ask you how hard it was for you, maybe even to put something personal inside that. And what do you think, like for maybe the younger audience, do you think it's easier to see this difference now, or is this difficulty, to share our culture and also, to share our interests? Because, theater must be a language that everyone can speak.
Right. Yeah, because what I want to, what I want for my audience to experience is that it's not something like, I want to teach you guys something, because that's how I felt, and then I was very ignorant, also naive, as I said in the play. But through those kind of experiences, I felt like I grow as a woman and actor and human being. So, so that those kind of experience are not really a bad thing. Also, as well as if we are really kind to each other, is we can make that a little bit better and warmer world. That's what I really want to tell to the audience. And I feel like, my also target audience was really pretty like a wide range, especially female, from 20 to 60s, and because that's what we have in Korea. And then a lot of mothers in Korea, they really related to that, because also there's my mom's story too. So yeah, it was very interesting and fascinating to see their reactions, and I'm really grateful that they took my story in a very meaningful way. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, yeah, and just talking about race and discrimination could get very sort of like,
Educational,
yeah, and can maybe a little heavy-handed, and it could be, how do I broach that? But I think it was really about Hyojin's point of view, her experience of the world, and how she moved through the world, and how she interacted with those things. So it was a very, and the irony is that the more personal and unique it is, the more universal it is, without having to teach anybody everything, because we all experience otherness, we all experience being different, we all experience on some level. So I think that's where it connects.
And this maybe sound a little bit personal as a question, but I would like to ask you, how did you met each other? Not, not only in a private way, but also, like on an artistic level, because maybe you were doing something at that time, he was doing something else. So, like, how this combined together, and how did you met?
Yeah. I met him in an acting studio, and then afterwards, after I got into graduate school, and we realized that we have a mutual friends, and we hung out all together, and then he's so handsome, so I just fell in love. Yeah. And he's very, like, he has a great sense of humor, and he has a really big heart, which I, love still, and so, yeah.
Really? You never told me that before.
Tell you now. Yes. It's
Yeah.
confession time. It's not interview. It's confession. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hyojin is just awesome to work with. She's so talented, and I think we share a lot of similar interests creatively, so it's very easy to collaborate together. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have to say that, but he's my husband or he's my director. But everyone might think that, he's gonna be easy on you, and hell no. There's one part. Do you remember I becoming the cow part? It was I said, I don't want to be a cow. I just want to say the line. And Paul was like, but you just think about what's gonna be the more effective for audience. And but becoming a cow and acting becoming a cow is a humiliation. And he said, but it's your choice. He really pushed me my limits. And yes. Yeah. And then also I like feeling growth out of it. So yeah, I really respect him as my director, also my husband.
Yeah, likewise. Did a good job, babe.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I would like also to ask you, you have been playing this hard to New York and also to Korea. So I would like to, if you can share some opinions of the people that you have met after the show, if something that I have said to you has changed your view on what you were doing actually, or just make you realize something new, or think about this could be something that I need to think about that before. So like if you had like some revelation about You can take this question first. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say what's been nice is seeing how the work translates, whether it's in New York or Korea, and now here in the UK, in Edinburgh specifically, and how audiences react. They laugh and smile at the same places. It really hits home on a very personal level, and I think that's really a beautiful thing, and that just shows it's cross cultural, generational as well. So that's been an interesting discovery.
Yeah. My parents saw the show, and then I think after watching my show, they are more kind to Paul, and then it's very nice to see how people think they don't have any bias or judgments and towards certain things. But I felt that way too. But as they saw my show, I felt they really, reflect on their own bias and their own judgments, and then they can question themselves. I might have certain kind of judgments towards certain things, and then just make them think about once more. That's really the most meaningful and powerful. Yeah,
and I think
reaction.
I think you have to have grace.
Yeah, grace. Yeah.
You have to give people grace.
Yeah.
People, different culture, different exposure, have ideas about different kinds of people, good or bad. And I think once you get to know people, always, right? Yeah. Once you really get to know people, all that exterior stuff kind of falls away, because it's really character, values at the end of the day that matters.
So right now, my parents, they love him more than they love
yeah,
me. Yes, he even knows that. He even knows that. If he want to go somewhere, my parents like, let's go. If he want to eat something, let's eat. How about me? It's really beautiful to see because they are coming from really countryside, and then they are not really exposed to a lot of foreigners, but accept him in that way is very. It's very like moving. Yeah, it's yeah.
It's like they have grown with you.
Yes, yes, yeah. Oh my God, that's a great,
Like
great
that-
way to
that
expression.
you have, explored something that was not
Yeah.
only for you, like
Yeah,
that.
just around
Yeah.
people
It's like
around
ju-
me.
And kids do that for parents, right?
Yeah.
They force the parent to grow, to experience things that are not, out of your comfort zone. So, thank you. Thank you so much for coming and
Yeah.
for being such a great audience member. And
She was the best audience.
She was,
She
you were.
cried and then she laughed and then even
yeah,
he was
cameraman
like,
too
he
was
was
awesome.
and then she was like, "I'm okay."
Yes, totally. I would like to ask you, something that is related to the fact that I'm trying to get people to know more about Asian cinema in general. So everything like from China to Korea to Japan, and to explain even the differences. So when you do the thing that the teacher was, thinking that you were Japanese, I was like, oh my god, this is so terrible. It's like, almost like saying to Scottish people that is English. It's something
oh my God.
terrible like that. So I would like to ask you, like the fact that now, the cultural in Korea is becoming like even more, like known in Italy, in US, in UK, everywhere. Do you think this help, to understand better your culture, or still there are like some elements that gone missing? Because, like there is also this approach that, one day I build you on like on a statue, and the other day if there is something that we don't understand about your culture, we are judgmental. Then I will explain what was some, like, one example that comes to my mind is when people that don't understand, like when your actors, have these difficulties to face critical moments, like in their career when they, discover like he has been drunk, and in Korea is something very, difficult, and we don't understand it, why it's so, different in that culture. So I would like to ask you, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that knowing a culture between music, cinema, and TV series and whatever cultural elements we can bring is helpful on this side, but also there are like some shadow part that people don't want to, to indicate more?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's a great question. It's very deep. Actually, where I'm at is that, like, because in the world, people really have a strong awareness towards Korean culture. So I just have a lot of gratitude towards that, because when I first went to New York City in 2013, literally a lot of people asked me, are you from North Korea or South Korea? Seriously. So I was like, so whenever they say, oh, I'm from Korea, there's like, no, South. So, but after 10 years, 12 years later, no one really asks that way. So that means that they have really strong awareness that, like, what's Korea is. Also, a lot of people ask me, are you from China or Japan? No one really assumed that I'm from Korea 10 years ago. But right now we have a really amazing cinema and TV shows and K-pop star. They really brought a lot of awareness that really make myself very proud to be Korean, because people are very welcoming because of that. Because he's from Trinidad, and when I went to his country, Trinidad, and even a few years ago, I said, I'm from Korea. Oh, Korea, okay. It's very, like, it's still a little bit in the unknown, vague. But this year I went there, they just say, oh, 안녕하세요. They say, they say hi in Korean, because, oh my God, how did you learn Korean, and they say, oh, we watch so many Korean movies and TV shows. So it really, it makes people more welcoming towards Korean people. That's my stage is where I'm at, is like, I'm just so grateful that people are really aware. And then, but, we always had both sides, but I felt like, a lot of Korean cinema is really towards to male driven, but everywhere in the world. So that's I want to have a more like a female, complex female, like character driven like a cinema or stories. I want to have more, and then I want like more other audience outside of Korea want to see those kind of characters, because I mean, females in general are amazing, or Korean females are amazing. So, yeah, that's it. That's our, yeah. Or so
Just to add to that, I definitely think the more culturally aware you are of a country, and you could better appreciate. Like, I've learned a lot about Korea through the films, and of course with Hyojin. And definitely, the more you know about a culture, it makes you even more curious about it. And then there are things that in Korea, like, really? That happens? Like, why is that a big deal? And they're like, yeah, that's, just different things, like the standard of morality. If you smoke weed, that's like a big shame.
Yes.
I'm like, weed, really? So like those things is kind of, you just like, wow, it's just really interesting to kind of discover that. So, yeah.
And I would like to ask you for the last question as well, like, what are your interests? Like, what are you curious about? What you do in your free time? And actually, even your working process, like if you work together when you have a new idea, or you prefer to be separate and then to come back together, like,
Right now, my all focus is in Nina. From our town goes to New York City and doing the Nina show in Fringe. And actually, my really ultimate goal is making this story as a TV show. So as 8 episodes, and that's my next step. And then that's our goal as well. Yeah.
And just for me, sometimes we work separately and we have projects that we share together. We bounce ideas off of each other. I'll read her stuff, she'll read my stuff, that kind of thing. So it's kind of we have our own projects, but then we kind of bounce off of each other to see, like, what do you think about this? Like, oh yeah, no, you need to remove that line. That's terrible, But I think it's kind of very kind of organic in that way.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I really loved your show.